Hit record too. Give me.
This cross of healing wishes you a speedy recovery.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a little under the weather too. That's why my video's off here. I'll turn it on for a second so you can see I'm pretty haggard. But
Oh, man.
the elements of healing, stillness. Let's see, taking joy in things, still enjoying your life. Um, Love of the body and love of where you are. And then I think the great secret of gate 25, which is the only real competition is competition with yourself, and that continually maintaining your own integrity, your own innocence, in the face of the corrupting influences of the world is actually the truest form of health. So.
Sounds good. I'll take it. Well, speedy healing to you too, brother. All right, cool. Well, we're recording. I had a few people send me some stuff to look at, and I thought we could start with Neme. How's it going, Neme? Going good? Cool. Here comes Nancy. Yeah, let's see. Can I unmute you?
Oh yeah, I can come in. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to talk or not. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for sending me your chart. My MMI crashed again, so I did pull up this one you sent me here. And all right. So would you like me to kind of share what you told me, or
Sure. Yeah. And I can come
okay.
in if you've got questions. Yeah, I'm happy to be talky, but if you want to go for it.
Okay. So it sounds like and by the way, welcome to everyone who's jumping in. I see some new names and maybe some new faces here. So, what we're doing in this workshop is just, well, it should be pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, locating. We all have dilemmas. We all, what I've been exploring the last few sessions here is really that we always tend to default our human nature. Somehow we always tend to default to making decisions in all the places that are not the best for us, whether it's our open centers or our split somewhere in our split, or something else. It could be something else. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. And so Neme sent me her chart and explained to me that, well, she's a generator, but 3 out of her 4 out of her 5 channels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, 4 out of her 5 channels are projected. So for those of you who don't know, we can classify channels by type. So anything that's coming out of the sacral center is a generated channel, so it operates through response. Her channel of power operates through response. But all these other 4 channels, recognition, judgment, transformation, structuring, they're all projected. So I mean, they all have to be recognized and invited. And that feels like a dilemma for her because, she's like, and this is an unconscious channel. It's all in red. So it's unconscious. We don't always identify or see in ourselves our unconscious channels until we look back and see that it always was there. And okay, so does that sound about right so far, Neme? Okay.
Yeah, I got dual screens going on. Yeah, it's like I can track my power. Um, it tends to just come out and punch. Unfortunately, but yeah, it's trying to track so I'm in response to do what, and then my brain gets clouded with the recognition side of things. So
Mm-hmm.
be recognized and then have my power show up feels backwards. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I clouded things, but that's where I get a little tripped up.
Yep. So, let's just name all the elements here. So also, Neme is a 3-5. So she's here to correct what isn't working. She's here to provide a practical solution to whatever is going on in her life or whatever she sees, how to do it better based on her own experience, martyr, trial and error experience that she's thrown herself into in her life. So, but we like to say that 3-5s are here to point out what's not working. But that fifth line in a way is to her advantage because she is here to provide a practical solution. She has the ability to provide a practical solution. While this channel of judgment, I'm kind of tying that 3-5 into that correction. The channel of judgment is correcting, well, 18, correcting what's been spoiled. But judgment it's the same idea. It's here to see what's not working. It's logic. It's going, if you keep 58 just wants to live a joyous life and respond to that, or just feel that pressure and let's live a joyous life. But the 18 is going, whoa, 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 hold on a second, slow down. If you keep rushing forward, you're gonna run off the cliff, and you're not going to get that joyous life that you want. So correction, a design of insatiability, driven, adrenalized, driven, pressurized to correct. But ultimately, with good intention so we can live a joyous life, so we can know what patterns to focus on, to develop and repeat and build the life that we want in alignment with our truest nature. So how does your generator side fit into that? I would, and there's you are not alone. There are a lot of generators with one generated channel, and the rest is projected. So I'm sure other people out there can relate. But what I always like to say is, this channel is in the integration circuitry, which is all about self-empowerment, putting yourself first. Now, you got to put yourself first. To me, I have this kind of, what do we call it? Like a saying, or, integration first. You got to if you have integration, you have to empower yourself first before anything else in your anything else can come alive. So let's see. So putting yourself first. Also, as a 3-5, you can't really provide a practical solution to something unless you've thrown yourself into it first. So, we all want everything now. We want to my point about that is, what kind of settings is all this bitterness coming up? I think you mentioned a lot of it's in your work setting. So is that the work that you really want to be doing? If you're not feeling recognized there, no, you're saying it's not. And so my point is, what I'm saying, we all want everything at once. When we come into design and it's like a leveraging process. You gotta do the work with, your open centers and cleaning out your frequency. So you start to attract the unexpected invitations or unexpected things to come to you from the program to respond to. Unexpected or not, life is the one that's bringing it to us, wherever it's coming from. So it's what I see a lot is everyone's trying to um, embody their truest, happiest, most satisfied, successful, whatever self in the wrong environment. Oh, and then nothing's working. And it's like, well, if I just try harder to be recognized, it's just if you're not in the right environment, if you haven't put yourself first. So my question would be, are you in this is a deep, the channel of power as a unconscious channel. It's unconscious, but it's the body, which is just saying your body has this super deep primal instinctual intuitive response mechanism. And that's why it's the design of an archetype, is if you respond to that, if you are and it's always an in the moment, it's just such an in the moment response, sacral, splenic. This is a very in the moment, very of all the 4 integration channels, I really feel like this one embodies the most of what integration is about, because it's not the G center brings in themes of leadership, and the throat brings in themes of communication, expression, manifestation, society. This is just pure me surviving now. And what do I need to do to, it's not about, it's not the brain wave. It's not expressing that intuition to anyone else. It's integration. It's self-empowerment. So, yeah, that's my question is, have you been, with your open G, looking for love and direction, trying to solve open head, trying to solve other people's problems, open heart, looking to push yourself to be valued in the world? Have you taken the time, or are you in touch with your response mechanism to know, what do I need to do for myself? What do I need to do to empower myself first, so I can be, so I can have gone through my trial and error process, so I can, um, speak with authority about what needs to be corrected, and not seeking the recognition of other people. I mean, these need to be recognized, but if you're putting yourself first, if you're following your instinct and intuition, instinct isn't necessarily a keynote to this channel, but I like to use that word with a channel of power, because it just feels so primal and ancient, just this instinct to survive in the moment, or so we could call it intuition because it's the 57, but that's just why I'm using that word. Yeah. So are you putting yourself first? Where are you not putting yourself first? What do you really want to do to empower yourself, so you can so you can be self-empowered, and then all the recognition stuff kind of comes along. These are, yeah, and if this is unconscious and you're identifying, I mean, you kind of said in the letter you wrote me that you can almost hear like the projector quality that's coming out of you, a feeling, you just see how strong the bitterness, and that's real. When we have projected channels, they need to be recognized. That's part of their mechanics. We can't change the mechanics of a projected channel. It needs to be seen. It needs to be invited. And I mean, also unconscious 4323, that can probably get you in trouble too. Just blurting out your ideas at the right. I mean, so much of this channel is about timing, waiting for the right timing to be invited. It's projected to share your guidance. So yeah, so much of who you are is about guiding others, but you have to respond first. You have to respond to your self-empowering inclinations first. And if you know, usually what I see with integration is uh there's some kind of conditioning which we've been taught that or to be ashamed of putting ourselves first, which, for those of us all here in human design, we all know we're here to individuate. We're here to step into our uniqueness. And then the whole seven centered world is saying, how dare you put yourself first? How dare you, empower yourself first? So um that's a conditioning that needs to be seen there. How does that sound to you so far, Name?
Yeah, it's tracking. The desk job was definitely a pay the bills scenario with checking some boxes. But the two bosses that I navigate conflict with, um, there's an interesting relationship. If I pull up their relationship, if we look at our charts together, I'm compromised. Um, so yeah, it's interesting how to put myself first with also navigating, the ones or the lower numbered substructures that wants to have a steady, footing underneath me. So yeah, it's like when I'm in meetings sometimes, and I'm also connecting a past life scenario and hearing Jonah in the centers class talking about the 1858, and like, so connecting that dot with uh how I'm responding to authority. It's like I have this like powerful dragon inside of me that when I feel cornered, like I want to take people out, and I've got the power and the energy to back that up, but do I want to lose my job? you know, I'm studying human design and moving forward. And anyway, so like in an ideal world, I'd love to teach people how to play. Like I have a very playful side of me, but like where to do that, I don't know. So I'm just holding the question for right now. So yes, what you're saying is tracking, and I'm in the like, like twiddling my thumbs, like, okay, I'm ready, or I think I'm ready. So
Yeah. Yeah, and again, if you're not in the right place as an open G, wrong place, wrong people, it's not going to feel good. So, and nothing's going to really work. The geometry is not going to feel good. And you just when you have, and that's, I mean, these are probably two really big conditioning factors for you in terms of trying to prove yourself in the wrong place. I'm sure you've got these amazing ideas, but you know, is it even going to work? Are they, even if they do invite you, are they really going to hear it if overall the place really doesn't feel good? So in some ways we can just bring it down to the simple. And that's where, like you're saying, yeah, I'm studying human design, I'm doing the work, I'm taking one step at a time. That that's Give yourself a pat on the back, because if you can be in those uncomfortable places but with awareness and know, look, I'm just not in the right place, this is paying the bills right now. That's why I'm saying it's a leveraging process. I don't know, no one really talks about it that way, but it's kind of like that. We come into design and we're go, oh shit, how did I get here? Get me out. But suddenly you realize you can't initiate your way out of there. You just have to wait. And um so and that's, and the mind doesn't trust that process. The mind doesn't trust that you are going to get magical invitation or something to respond to, you know, to be doing your playful work, which you've done yourself, it sounds like. A lot of maybe your self-empowerment has been about, finding your health and satisfaction and keeping the energy flowing and through play or whatever you want to call it. And eventually you can, transform your tribe and help them see where they're stuck, and it'll come. So, but yeah, and being 4 parts left there, you want to be very strategic and strategize your way out of this. I think as long as you're putting the response and obviously strategy and authority, but I mean that's what a lot of this really just always comes down to is that. But one thing I thought of, this is maybe, I kind of thought of this after our last talk. And it's something I've been thinking about the last session I had was, and maybe some of you would want to validate it, but it takes time to get to know yourself, even as an emotional being. Most people who are to get to know how your authority process works. Obviously, when people find out they're emotional, most people identify with that. I mean, every now and then you meet someone who doesn't necessarily identify as being emotionally defined. But, having an emotional authority, I think it's really fair to say, whether you're open emotional or whether you are the defined emotional person, it takes time to get to know how your waves work, to know what clarity feels like, and to get comfortable with that process. It's not something that as soon as you find out you're emotional, sure, you can practice waiting, but really getting comfortable with that authority process and recognizing what clarity feels like and the awareness that emerges, and knowing how to make decisions at that time. I think honestly, of all, having been in this journey for a while, and journeyed with other emotional people, I've just seen how it takes time for them to get comfortable with that. So I'm not sure why I'm adding that into here right now, but really, to the point that your strategy and authority are what's going to keep you on track. So keep responding to putting yourself first, when you need to, and getting to know what clarity feels like for you. Yeah. Cool. And there was there was there was the thing with that, and I think you had one other thing you wanted to mention. Is that
Yeah, I was
correct?
curious if you had strategies or things you offer people to process out bitterness. I do a lot of embodied practices, like shaking and, somatic work. And it popped to mind, like, I have a sense of moving my feelings through, by being in motion, things like that. But I was curious, for bitterness, how to move that.
Mm-hmm. Well, uh, the first thing that this is kind of just on the fly, but what came to me is, whoops, sorry. Um, Recognition. I like to say recognition has 3 parts when we're talking about projected elements. There's you have to recognize yourself first. And then there's that interplay between recognizing the other and them recognizing you. But the recognition begins, you can't you can't recognize something in another. Well, I guess you could recognize something in them, but they can't recognize something in you if you can't recognize it in yourself in the first place. So, um, are you? So I was kind of thinking about just getting clear on what you want to be recognized for. And I know that's not necessarily like maybe that wasn't the answer you were necessarily looking for in terms of how to work with the bitterness, because you can't force anybody to see you or recognize you. Um, you know, so yeah, first, my first answer would be, are you clear on what you're here to correct? Are you clear on how you want to transform your tribe? Are you clear on what your dreams and fantasies and um, what you're here to dream up? Are you clear on what I mean, you're a cross of explanation, which is a lot about um, not only communication and expression, but in the context of fairness and balance in relationships, sensitivity to fairness and balance. I mean, yeah, this is all pulling it over here. This 49. So yeah, it's more a question back. Is there maybe a process for you to get clear on what you want to be recognized for? The other thing is, if you're feeling this is if you're holding on to some stuck energy like in the openness, is there a way to release that through the themes of the openness? Like, uh, I'm kind of just talking this out here. Like for myself, I have an open solar plexus, um, and I move a lot of the energy that I hold on to. For myself, it's playing music, and you'll listen to my music and you'll think, God, this guy is so emotional. But all I'm doing is moving the emotional energy through me. So I'm just kind of talking this out. Is there a way that you can do that with maybe these themes of open heart and open G center? Because that's where you're putting pressure on yourself. So I haven't thought this concept fully through, but maybe in the same way where you can just, you're not here to be competitive. You're not necessarily, and you're not here to fixate on an identity. But is there a way that you can? Do you see where you hold that energy in those parts of your body, in the stomach, in the heart, in the gallbladder, in the immune system, in the liver? Is there a way to support those biological correlations? It could be, it could be through movement. It could be through laughter. Yeah, I don't know. You can't force recognition. So I'll have to think about that, Name.
Yeah, thanks for spending so much time with my chart. Thank you.
You bet. All right. I've got Stephanie and I've got Julie. I saw Julie, you were here.
I'm I'm here, but that's not my chart.
Oh, did I? Huh.
Unless I gave you the wrong information. It's not. I'm a mental projector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Mercury retrograde.
Right.
let's see. I can if you give me 2 seconds, I can plug your chart into my online system here, and we can just do that. Let's see. Okay, my body graph, and then I can just edit. I put you in here, so I'll just edit it. And library, Julie.
Julie G.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. How do I edit you here? Properties. Yeah, still getting used to this new my body graph.
No worries. No.
Let's just do a new one here. Okay, Julie G. And then can you tell me your info?
December 6th, 1968.
And then what time?
2:19 p.m. 1419
Mm-hmm.
in
And then
Southfield, Michigan.
that all sounds right. Field, Michigan. It's still coming up with the same thing. Are you sure you're a mental projector? Oh, June. I'm sorry. This. Oh, you know what? It's because this new program does the things backwards. All right.
Yeah, got it. The 12 and the
6, 12, 1968. That explains everything. Sorry, 1419 USA. There we go. All right, new share. Thanks everyone for your patience.
That looks like me.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, would you like to share a little bit what feels like a dilemma for you?
What it means to be a mental projector. That's kind of been that's been my dilemma. Like, you talk about environment playing such a key role, and there's a part of me that feels like if I'm living correctly, then I should be non-judgmental of all situations, which should make me adaptable in all different environments. But really navigating what it means to be a mental projector. And I so appreciate the wisdom and knowledge in this group and getting the different interpretations and perceptions about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the first thing that comes to me is getting to know what it means to be a mental projector. What does it mean to have mental outer authority as your authority process? How have you been experimenting with that? Have you been soundboarding? Do you know how's that process going for you? Or are you still trying to be a generator or a manifester?
No, I think I occasionally I slide, but no, I slide a lot. And I do the soundboarding. I think that having the correct people that I can soundboard with, and people that want to be in the conversation of human design, and that they know it and they can share their insight and their wisdom. I do have a few people that do play that role, and I just find it fascinating. I mean, I can be in this conversation all day, every day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think my big thing, you were just talking about the solar plexus. I think that's really like the meat of my curiosity, because of being told my whole life that I was too sensitive and too emotional. And really recognizing now as a result of learning about human design that so much of that energy that I took on didn't belong to me. And yet, you talked about you playing music, and I love to dance, and that's been my outlet. But it's the same thing. It's not even a choice. It's that I have to move the energy. But my interpretation of that story was so different. I always thought I was so fueled by anxiety and stress, and that I could be in a room with 150 people and be in the center of the room and just be out of control. So I don't know. I think a little bit of tapping into my receptivity and the magic that happens when I'm in the stillness has been a big part of this journey for me. But I'm mostly just interested in any insights that.
Well, yeah, I mean, um, what would you say, what if you had to put it into words as a dilemma? What do you feel is taking you away from recognizing your outer authority? Um, the first thing I would say is, all the open centers. I mean, yeah, and of course, these two are going to be probably the biggest ones there. Um, you know, so it also, you had mentioned something about, I forget the exact words you used, but maybe about being open-minded or something like that. And you know, you're not meant to be open-minded, and you have, the hanging 17 gate of opinions. You're here to you are here to have a very fixed mind. You are here to Your mind works in a very specific way about how you interpret the past and how you see patterns for the future.
I think it does work in a specific way, but I think I'm very open-minded to differentiation and different ways of thinking. I think part of my dilemma has been having an opinion and sharing what that is. But what it is I'm passionate about diversity. I'm passionate about human design, because it shows that we're all wired differently. And I think that I grew up so homogenized, and I'm in an environment right now that's so homogenized. So there's
Mm.
chocolate vanilla ice cream, as my stepdad says. And I think I believe in that. So I don't know. And I think really my dilemma more than anything right now is one about money, making money and being patient and waiting and doing things that make my aura sparkly, and being in the conversation and learning and connecting with new people as a 4/6. Really, I really am taking this to heart. But I'm a little impatient.
Hmm. Well, you're born in the gate of waiting.
Right. And we're in it now. And it's also, I mean, it's also my Mercury, and yeah, we're in it, so yeah, well, we were in it. So the patient thing. Yeah. I mean, I have it with other people. I don't have it when it comes to me, like wanting to be successful, because I know that I deserve to be.
Hmm. Yeah, when you're in the gate of waiting, your tendency is going to be to not want to wait. you know, and even just learning how to be a projector. I mean, you can projectors absorb information so deeply, so quickly, but really learning to settle into your process, you know, um, which requires waiting to be invited, waiting to be recognized. I mean, you're here to be an outer authority with all these things that you just said. So, but this is going to pressurize you to want it now. And this maybe even this hanging 61 is, kind of pressurizing I don't know, I can almost see this channel, this is the one little missing piece here in all this, which might have a tendency to want the answers now, to fixate, to figure it all out now. You have to go through things. Um, you have to wait to recognize what the patterns are. Um, you know, Someone else has to bring the details to the patterns. Um, so yeah, I think that's it kind of just goes like along with what I was saying before. It takes time to get to know what your authority process is, and having soundboarding authority or mental outer authority as a mental projector, you have to everything is going to take a little bit of time. Any you know a, when you have a soundboarding authority, it means you have to talk to different, your different trusted allies over time and hear the quality of what comes out of your mouth, and so your biology can hear what feels authentic. We all have, there's 7 different authorities, but we all have to recognize, there's a thread that connects all the authorities, which is when you're in your authority, it's a feeling of, yeah, that's me. That's right. That feels true. We overthink authority. We overcomplicate it too much. It's just whatever your definition is, it's that place of yeah, that's fully aligned with who I am, and you can feel it, and there's that alignment, there's that click, and so everyone just has a different process of finding that inside of themselves. And so for you, it's talking out with different people over time. And that's why so that's why anyone who has that kind of mental outer authority and is pressurized to want everything right now and conditioned to be a generator, conditioned to be a manifester, yeah, I would just say settle into the process deeper, of recognizing that, of trusting it, of listening for it. I don't know. That's what kind of comes to me there, because we're talking about decision making. Um, the dilemmas in terms of making correct decisions.
I think part of it for me is that I can justify, like, make a decision and I can justify it. I can make it work. I can and I'm with someone that has a defined solar plexus. So we go, we do this thing. And for me, it's like, I don't always feel like I care. It's more about making and then making it work, if that makes sense. And this conversation makes me think about, I had a dear friend that was also a mental projector, and she and I would be sounding boards for each other, and we talked about this. It's the kind of thing of, that's fine, that's fine, like, there's not the attachment of it has to be one way for me. It's more about making the decision and then figuring it. I don't know. I'm just kind of vomiting right now. But yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, and then also just, I mean, not to keep repeating myself, but yeah, but looking at all the places that throw that off, maybe let's see what else could be a dilemma here, in this design. You mentioned making money,
That's
which,
that's the one that's I'm having the hardest time with right now.
so I mean, is it we you tell me, is it not knowing when not enough is enough with work, so you just keep working? Is it a false sense of security and you just uh, putting yourself in positions that aren't really healthy for you to make money? Is it a heart thing, trying to prove yourself in the world and prove your value that way, or is it just trying to survive? Is it looking is it more about a career thing where you're trying to find a direction?
I think it's a throat thing. I think it's a throat thing. I think it's having confidence in my ability to express. And I think that that's also like my thing is self-expression, creativity, um, and doing it in different ways than just having to like do it in words. But for me, it's all of this stuff going on, and it's about getting it out and getting it out in a way that makes sense, because I tend to process and speak at the same time. So there is an inner critic that's like, you're just going off, which I do. And then I'm embarrassed that I float, and I feel like I'm like appearing as though I'm like spacey, when it's really there is something going on, but the way that it comes out sometimes doesn't it don't make sense, or my story is that I don't make sense. It's the connection of the it's the undefined throat that I struggle with.
Hmm. So that's like a manifestation, pressure. This is the center of manifestation, you know, pressure to manifest now. you know, and just because if you're not a manifester or a manifesting generator, it doesn't mean that you can't doesn't mean you can't manifest. What it means is you play your part with others. Your process of manifestation is going to be collaborative.
Right. Which is my thing, which is my thing, which is my thing. I'm always about collaboration. And it's the thing that I want more than anything, is to connect with other people that are, heart-centered, like-minded, that want to make a difference in the world, where we're all bringing our stuff together. That's the waiting. That's the waiting. That's the waiting.
Yeah.
Find those
Wait for the
people.
right invitations to guide and collaborate. Then the creativity will have the right hookups. You have a bunch of these you've got a handful of individual hanging gates, individual circuitry. So I think a lot of, yeah, it's gonna, yeah, all of this energy up here is trying to get to the throat. I can kind of see that, it wants to get out. Um, but it needs the right transit or collaborative effort or invitation to make it happen. So again, you get that, but learning how to live it as a projector is, you know, you can't rush the process. So I would say, yeah, are you trying to get attention? Are you trying to manifest? Are you trying to take action when, um, yeah, you just need to wait for those invitations. So,
Just working on the four. I'm just working on the networking and the connection, and I'm working on the four. I'm
mhm,
trying to approach it that way. But that really is the dilemma. It's the collaborating where it can come out and be expressed.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, you're waiting for the right people, and yeah, you need the right people to bring that out for sure. Open G, same we talked about with the May, you know, you the people have to feel good. You can't force it to happen with the wrong people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're with the wrong people and it doesn't feel good, you can't power through it, you know, if it's not the right, the geometry is just going to be off. So
Cool. Thank you.
food for thought. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Fun to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
I'm
Laid up?
happy to. Let's see if I can talk here.
Okay.
I gotta figure out how to undo the mic.
Sorry if I revealed your alias on the Discord program here.
No, I'm revealed. I'm
Okay.
translucent, transparent.
What?
Here to be transparent, but I can't figure. Can you hear me right now? Because
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, dear.
okay, must have never muted myself. See, I'm not that great with this.
I heard someone fart over there, but you know, just kidding. Bad joke. Sorry. Okay. Would you like to share? Do you have the energy to share what might feel like a dilemma for you? Would you like
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
design in your in in all this?
What my dilemma is right now?
Or is there a place in your life where you feel like uh, I've got this part of me, but I got this part of me too. I always want this, but I always get this result. Or, um, you know, is there an internal conflict that you're able to name?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I could name some internal conflict. Well, I'm injured and so that's the conflict really. I mean, I guess that's the conflict, but how I became injured, it's also curious when you think about the no choice and all of it. I was playing wiffle ball and on Thanksgiving Day in the cow pasture and um slid into bases. I don't slide into bases. I have no idea. So it was a weird thing. So what I was thinking about today was since I've been here in Texas, I just moved back to my hometown area completely by freak, all my life is by freak. It's not my choice or my plan or anything. But how I I spend a lot of time alone. I'm a lot alone, which is probably better than being too much with people, right? But it is also lonely or whatever word you want to call it. It feels weird to be so alone sometimes, especially when you're injured and you can't do things. But you just can't. There's just no way I can do the things that I need to do. But the curious thing was why did I slide into those bases that day? um my whatever, my body did it. I wasn't, there was no time for a plan, or I would never have planned, so that's kind of fun and playful. But it
You
is
are
curious.
3'5". I mean, you're
Yeah,
you're built to get banged up a
get
little.
hurt here, built to get hurt a little here and there.
I
part
mean,
of the part of the game.
I'm bandaged up, walking on. I'm on crutches right now, so
Yeah, so
yeah.
we're sharing a little of that feeling pretty
I don't really. I'm not seeing a. You know, accidents happen. I mean, I don't know if I see it as a dilemma unless there's a theme in your life where you're where you're oftentimes going, why did that? You know, why did this? Why did I get banged up again? I mean, is this? Are you?
it's the theme is that this has been a really, like, I guess I could call it a transit. It's been a really long transit. I guess the gate 60 to my 3, you know a log brought it to my attention a long time ago. He said, you better just start accepting. Like, I can accept. I mean, what else is there to do? um
I
but
mean,
there is.
the thing that I see too, which I can relate to, is, you know, being a sleeping phoenix, being a 30, you know, 3420, you know, define, you know, 3 defined motors.
And I live in the now. This is another thing that I absolutely like. I don't really fit anywhere. I thought about this today. It's like, it's a weird thing to say. I've never really fit. I left this place young because I was thinking, I didn't think about I was being a black sheep. I always thought black sheeps or something else. I didn't ever think of myself as being a black sheep of the family. I was from a family of 10, so it's pretty varied personalities in there. But how I have, moved from place to place and landed back in my hometown, basically. Landed back in the hospital I was born in for this. And then I was heading to that operating room. I felt like I was going back through this tunnel and I thought I might not come out. I wasn't scared, but I did bring it up to my oldest son, that I felt like I was doing this backwards trajectory right now and ending up in the hospital and then going into the operating room. And it was like that operating room was like a spaceship. It was huge, biggest operating room I've ever imagined. I've been in quite a few, but anyway, just the whole, my trajectory right now is so crazy. I've been on the road for 3 years, had left Maui, during COVID and landed in all these places thinking I would live there, I can do this here. I can live here. Anyway, I'm not in charge, very clear, very accepting of my sleeping phoenix too, I guess, and that I don't really go to sleep too much, I have to watch it all. I live it. I'm fully experiencing my life. It's not like I'm sleeping on the job or anything. If that makes sense.
The sleeping part can be interpreted in two different ways. It can be sleeping in the sense that you're just so busy. Most sleeping phoenixes can be some of the busiest.
I used to be.
Sleep,
Yeah.
because if you're not operating through response, you're just, and also with that 29 loves to say yes, 34 loves to be busy, so you can be overcommitted, overwhelmed, over frustrated in a sleep, or it can be uh like a dreamer,
Like a
'cause when
joy dreamer.
you're a joy dreamer, there you go. So I mean, that's what Alok said that to me once. He said, "Oh, you're a dreamer or something." I said, I don't have the channel of recognition. What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're a sleeping phoenix. You're here to dream of, this." I forget exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, you're here you're here to dream big, and you do dream big. So,
Yeah.
um,
Gate 41 is my Chiron, the fantasy, right? And I've just recently sort of put together that my fantasies saved my life when I was young. It was so scary, crazy. And yet now, and then as I became adult, my fantasies became a little problematic because I would create stories in my head and think I was going to get to live them out, and I'd be disappointed. I'd be always disappointed. But yeah, and a lot called me. He said, I always said I was an artist because I always had been called an artist. And he said, well, you're more of a mystic, he said, I see you as a mystic. So, and I see it too now. I can see how I'm not like most artists. I can't render. I can't, I'm a receiver of something beyond me, I guess. And here to bring it to light, to heretic it out there, I guess, in some way, shape, or form. But yeah.
well, you're saying that you're not staying. There's something about you being migratory. I mean, it's probably, this 3410 to your G center, but you always seem like you're at home wherever you are, right?
Well, I have to make it happen. I work very hard at getting comfortable. I've never been comfortable in my body in this life. I don't think I ever have been. And so it's always been I can say it clearly now, whereas in the past, I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was being busy. I was recreating an environment all over and over again, you know? And so that's what I do. I have to do that or I can't get comfortable. So when I'm moving around so fast, I'm having to recreate the environments so fast to get just to be able to relax. And it's kind of crazy. And I don't see myself, I'm a gypsy right now. My north node is Sagittarius, you know, so I know that I'm on this different trajectory now, but I'm really a homebody. You know, I see myself as somebody who needs to, well, I'm being still right now. I'm being forced. That gate 52, thank you for very much to that, because it's allowing me to do this right now, you know.
You know, the other thing about being a sleeping phoenix is, you know, what's a phoenix do? A phoenix crashes and burns, you know, slide into first.
Over and over and over and over.
Until, yeah, over and over and over. And kind of that's that kind of, to me, that's like the 34, is that like that locomotive power train that's just going to keep going until thanks, Shireen. Wait, hold on 1 second. I don't know. Maybe look in the laundry room. Sorry. My friend's picking up my dog for me. Yeah, that locomotive just wants to keep going until, you know, it kind of crashes. So, you know, yeah, things are happening to you, but do you, you know, are you able to respond? Do you feel like you're responding to your, you know?
Well, I'm responding in the sense that I'm giving myself what I need right now, which is no judgment, you know, no story. Be still, you know, take care of your body, or you're going to be a lot longer in this position that is hard to be in for a busy sleeping phoenix, you know, somebody that's actually a manifesting generator that needs to be in movement, you know. So the movement I'm having now is a different movement. It's through my thoughts, really, because I'm incapacitated to move and be distracted by, you know, I like distractions. They're interesting, right? I like to be distracted. This is hard for me because you're my distraction right now. Thank you for this, Peter. You know, thank you for being here for this whole, you know, Discord, Jonah Dempsey, you know, dream.
And also, you know, in your design too, you know, again, unconscious emotional authority, you know, half conscious emotional authority. So is, you know, maybe there's something there too. And when, you know, and this is also integration, you know, integration and centering are the situations that you're getting into. I mean, do you feel like you can be autonomous? Do you feel like you have the space to get clear? Are you your single definition? Are you able to move independently? Because it seems like a lot of your situations, you end up being like reliant on other people. Or reliant on something. So I don't know if that's true or not, but
yeah, I think I've been almost too independent most of my life, and I've been put in a situation now where I'm totally dependent. I mean, I can't take care of myself fully without the help of these people, and I'm very uncomfortable getting that kind of care because I've never really received it, right? I didn't receive it as a child, and then I, you know, left the family thinking, I don't think I had a thought when I left the family. It was just survival. That's another one of my, you know, I'm surviving all the time. It's my game. And however I can survive. But yeah, is this environment healthy for me? Is it going, I mean, I'm trying to stop from jumping ahead into, is this place going to work for me? I've only been here 2 months. I've been on the road for 3 years. I've been separated from a close-knit family for a very long time. Maui, I was pretty far out in the middle of the ocean there. So it's just really an interesting part of my journey, whatever the story is, right? I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, it's so weird getting older. It's so weird being helpless. It's so weird being back where I came from. It's so weird that that I might not have be able to create what I've had in the past. I've been able to create a life in a sense of landing places and being able to play there. They made sense. Maui was a playground, a really great playground for me. And I don't know about Texas. I don't know. So I'm on that kind of a journey right now. The experiment as well in play.
Also, it sounds, maybe another little perspective here, Stephanie, is, it sounds like you've done really I mean, you sound like a very self-aware to me, and you've lived as a generator, a manifesting generator. You've been, you have been kind of following your sacral around to different places, and
Definitely.
for the most part, it seems like it's worked out for you. But maybe that open heart, maybe
Woo!
something to do with yeah, you're finding your place in this world. There's being an ego in this world. This is the ego center, and so maybe you're just not finding. Maybe that's kind of the hidden culprit. There is this wide open ego.
Probably.
I just don't know even really who to be in this world. I don't know that's the wide open ego.
Yeah, I don't know where I belong. I
know
don't,
who to be. I don't know who to be in this.
Yeah, maybe that too, actually. Yeah. Because a
And
mother was easy for me to be, right? I was a mother. I love that, man. I talk about a great place for a manifesting generator, warm, enveloping, creating the home and all that. That was and the kids are so innocent. So I felt safe. I was remothering myself, probably, pretty much. So yeah, it's true. I don't know my purpose.
Wide open head, wide open, both your open centers are wide open.
Yeah.
Not knowing you don't know what's inspiring and who to be.
I don't know
So
what's inspiring and who to be.
how much is that? How much is that turning? How much are you turning that into a problem when it doesn't need to be a problem? Maybe it's not a problem.
Yeah, it can't be because it's stupid. I mean, basically, it's a dumb thing to create. I already know better, part of me knows better, right? But it is a game of catching yourself, the unconscious parts of yourself. It's a continued game. I don't know that I really learn. Like, I would study human design, but I'm really not here to study. I love it, and I love it when I come to realizations. I didn't have to work; they just happen, right? That's kind of my whole life. It just happens, and I either, I respond to it, and it's either I can handle it, make it a really positive, but I'm kind of in charge, right, of the responses. I have that awareness.
Yeah,
Even if I have to suffer first, right, or cry, or go through it.
Your responses are taking you to all these places, but then you still get there and you're like, who am I supposed to be here? What am I supposed to do now? I don't know.
It says it good, because I think about in Connecticut, I was with my son and his family, and I did look a little bit into our charts, right, and saw that we all carried a lot of the same traits. They didn't need me there. And my motivation is need. I know what's needed. Believe me, I don't need anybody to prompt that in me. You know, that's why when I arrive somewhere, I have to recreate the environment for me. I know what I need, right? So, but I also know what other people need. And when I'm not needed, it puts me in a very awkward place. And so it doesn't really work, right? It doesn't work for very long. So I'm not there anymore. I had to, but that was good. I could at least learn it from that not being personal point of view, human design point of view, even though it still feels shitty, sometimes it still feels I still have to grieve it. I'm a griever. I'm here to feel things fully,
Yep,
you know.
that's your 55-5 design Earth. I mean, you're here to feel the highs and the lows.
Yeah, definitely. And the magic, because I am grateful for that spirit of mine. The intimacy part, I guess the intimacy part, because I guess I'm having right now, maybe, would you call this intimacy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 59 son. To me, I'm also a single definition 3-5 manifesting generator sleeping phoenix like you. And my dilemma was always wanting to be intimate, but then wanting to be alone. Single definition.
Mhm.
So I think that can take you to all sorts of places. Maybe that's your own version of that, where it's like, you want to bond, you want to find people, you want to connect, you want to be intimate. And then you get somewhere and you're like, well, this is fine, but I really don't really need this either.
I ain't in the mood. I'm not in the mood, or I'm a bigot too. The listener. I listen a lot, right? So, I need to be listened to sometimes. I think that's part of what my intimacy is that, I'm a listener. I'm always listening to other people's stories and secrets and heart stuff, and I occasionally need to be listened to myself, or it starts to feel out of balance. Maybe that I wrote about it this morning. Maybe it is. It's this feeling like I'm invisible. After a while, I feel like that no one even realizes I'm there. If you don't see me, am I really here? If you don't hear me, am I really here? Kind of idea. And I've had the experience a number of times now. I can sort of, understand what's happening. It's just a waiting game again. It's always a waiting game. Patience. Anyway, thank you, Peter Berv, for your Phoenix wisdom, and it's nice to see you. You look good. Sorry about your foot.
No, it's good.
You'll heal quicker. It's kind of a good thing. We learn, right? Well, we have to take a different stance when we can't move around. We got to become something else temporarily, right? Get through it.
Yeah, I'm definitely working with that right now, being forced stillness as a MG. I could spend the whole day doing work on the computer, but I'm trying to slow down and enjoy what I've this position
Really,
to.
just learn to accept
Just
this
finding a
beautiful
balance.
life of stillness, right? It's really special. I mean, when I can relax into it, it's like, wow, what was I? But I think I always had trouble going to sleep as a baby all the way up and I have a hard time laying it down, lay down the ball, right? When do I
I'm
lay down the ball?
about to say one of my biggest obstacles as an MG is kind of learning when to unplug from the manifesting, and which means just you know I'm not a generator. Generators can go till they're exhausted.
Right.
Generators need to stop. So really putting a limit on my what feels like the busyness, the business, the work, you know, and then directing it elsewhere, I'm thinking of, man, there's so many shows I want to catch up on that I haven't watched. There's so many, HD stuff I want to listen to, I haven't listened to, my practice has been lately, this is just personal things, getting in bed before I'm tired, putting on some headphones, and doing things that support my satisfaction or support my work, like
Exactly.
listening to Raw, listening to other things where it doesn't feel like I got to get this done by, before I go to bed. So, and then I actually end up sleeping so much deeper, having so much more of a healthy rest. And that's been really one of the biggest obstacles as a MG to trust that and to experiment with it.
Yeah, to get rest is like, oh my God. I mean, I become a pill taker. I'm not a pill taker. I didn't even hardly take aspirins, right? But here in Texas, certain things are illegal. And this broken ankle was fucking horrible. It was horrible. And the pain was beyond, and 2 surgeries, the whole thing. Unreal. And I'd never had that kind of pain before. So being able to, people kept saying, you need to take the meds, you need to stay on the meds, and it was so weird to me to have to go, oh, and I finally realized why. Because if you let it go too long, that's when you would get miserable, right? You wanted to stay out of the misery as much as possible, because it was, otherwise it's just too much work, this dropping down to, pain, the pain level and shit. So I'm a drug taker to a degree, I'm learning how to use pharmaceuticals, which, I'm using them in a good way, I think.
I think we're third line people. I think we can, we're adaptable. We're resilient.
Exactly. I'll be fine. I'm not going to become an addict, but people get all nervous. Oh, don't take that. Or I'm like, I can do it. I know I can do it. I can do anything. Is that true? That place where I find myself, I can do anything. I'm okay. All is well. You hear it all the time, and it's a true thing. But when it's not well, woohoo, it's intense.
Well, Stephanie, I need to start wrapping it up here.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
Anybody else, just before I close things here, anyone want to any last comments or anything like that?
Trying to turn it off.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for dropping in. I know it's more conversational, a little more on the fly here. But hope it gave you some inspiration to maybe see your dilemmas too. So thanks for jumping in, and we'll see you next month for something completely different.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks,
Rest
everyone.
well. Enjoy your time.
All right. Bye for
I
now.
love house.